Commencing stream. We officially have 0 viewers. Let's fucking go. Let's freaking do it. Brr. Get out of my car. Okay, cool. It is now doing the thing. Stream pings. Stream pings. But what the fuck to do? I guess pull up the Cyberpunk rulebook and probably just walk you lot through it. I'm assuming everyone has agreed to have username/handles divulged, yes? Alrighty. I'm not even 100% how much audio I'm capturing because I'm not proofing my own stream. It'll probably cause feedback if I do, though. Okay, so that's... okay, that's not currently catching system audio. If I mute my own stream, I can then tell it to capture all audio. That will that'll result in some minor feedback, which is kind of lame, but then your voices will be archived on stream. Do not make visible, audio output capture, default device, yeah, just use headphones high definition. That should be working. What am I doing pulling up someone else's video to test that the audio is working? I have an entire channel of videos, at least 4. That's the perfect way to test if audio is working. Okay, cool, audio's working. Alrighty. Yeah, what's up, Doc? Yeah, Angel, you should probably, like, rest since you are ill. I wager that would be good for you. Generally, whenever I do get sick, rarely, it takes me, like, 3 days to get better because I just sleep for, like, 20 hours a day. Ta-ta! Take care. But yeah, so Puppet, you can feel free to chat in the VC. That'll get picked up. Reminder, Dagger, you can also speak, but it will be archived, so careful on being how you're funny. Right? Careful on how you're funny. Yeah. Technically I can go through this stream and, like, mute segments after the fact, but, you know. better if we just don't need to do that at all. Because it's easier that way. So, as far as the stream, we need to add a window capture, which will be that window. Wait. Where is the snapping controls? I want better snapping. Center. There we are. Okay. Oh. Alright, fair. This feel readable, chat? This need to be larger? I mean, I should probably zoom in more, but like... Cool. So, that's all good. I feel like I should probably make it larger. If I scale it up that way, and then I can just center horizontally, not vertically. There. Yeah, now I'm only blocking like a small segment of it. Alrighty. So, what music can I put in the back? What music do I know that's royalty free? Agonizing Silence. That's free. I know that that's free. Well, actually, you know what I can do, because this is still being done in a browser. I have the ability to just pull up stuff. Man, my algorithm is a complete dumpster fire. I kinda love it, though. It is truly rancid. Okay, I know that this stuff still plays even in streamer mode, doesn't it? Because it's only like a few songs on the radio are taken out, if I recall, right? When, I mean, it's a small stream, worst case scenario, I just let them take the revenue, that revenue being nothing. And if they want it taken down, there's going to be a 2-hour stream of basically nothing, so... That's fine. I forget what that one's called specifically. I think it's probably like Rebel Path. I know it's part of it. Or, no, it would be Don't Fear the Reaper, I think. Specifically, the Don't Fear the Reaper variant of Rebel Path. That'll do. Okay, so I've already walked you through, like, a little bit of character creation, Puppet. But I guess the next thing I would need to walk you through is the process behind getting scenes down and how stuff is done. Which is really straightforward. Like, there's not a lot to it that's, like, difficult to understand at many levels. It's literally just you roll dice and you tell me what you want to do. And potentially I roll the dice. Yeah. It's a little different, but I would say it's arguably simpler. Because with actual D&D, there's, like, certain numbers that you have to figure out and do some math for. In Cyberpunk, it's literally just basic addition. There is no dividing this by that or anything like that. So realistically, we should probably just do the statistics page. So there's a bunch of prefab sheets, roughly made. A little higher. Here it is. Okay, yeah. Fitted for the future. Part of a character. Blah, blah, blah. Background info, background info, background info. Guidelines. Bam. How to do thingies. So, statistics, also called stats. Numbers that describe your character's main abilities. Basically, they're just how good you are at a thing. More means that you're better. And they can be rated from 1 to 8, but can go higher. Now, notably, a character has a starting level at all stats of 2. That's the minimum, so this info here is a little odd, actually. And the maximum at a level 1 character is 8. But I allow players to go up to level 10 pretty quick if they want to spend their XP that way. So, the few different stats you'll need to know about are intelligence. Basically, anything about having pre-possessed knowledge is intelligence. Also, how quickly you figure out new things, and your general awareness. In D&D, this would be a hybrid between willpower, or this would be a hybrid between wisdom and intelligence. Willpower is basically one of the two halves of Constitution for D&D. It's a hybrid between wisdom and constitution. Cool, it's just charisma. Empathy. This determines how much chrome you can fit, but also how empathetic you are to other people, how much torture you can withstand before you snap, things like that. How far you are from being a complete nutjob who is detached from the world. Technique, or technical ability. This is basically how much you know about how to do thingies. They aren't necessarily things that you can do on the corner of a dime, like instantly, but if you wanted to fix a car, or repair a gun, or rewire some electronics, technique is your friend. Reflex is basically just how fast you are. It's literally just like dexterity, how it's used for rogues in D&D. It's just being fast and very fine-motored. That's all there is to it. Then we get to luck. This is both the most useless and the most important stat in the entire game. If you roll good, this stat will never be useful. But if you always roll just one short of what you needed, luck is your best friend. It's simple. You can take from your luck stat and add that as a flat plus to any roll. But you can only do it however many points you have per session or day, whichever is shorter. So say, for example, you're trying to dodge someone who's about to shoot you with a shotgun, and you have only 2 points of luck. You didn't really invest in it because you wanted to just be good at what you do. You didn't need to want to have the Hail Mary moments. Luckily, you needed to roll a 20, and you rolled an 18. By using all of your luck, you can squeeze up just enough points to dodge it. If you had actually passed the check, I would probably just describe it as you quickly sidestepping and getting out of the way of the shotgun. But because you had to use luck, the way I would instead describe it is that, you know, the punk who's aiming their shotgun at you, they start pulling down on the trigger, and right as you sidestep, they step on a piece of, like, loose debris and twist their ankle and biff their shotgun to the left. You almost dodged fast enough, and admittedly, if you didn't dodge at all, they still would have blown your arm off. Either way, they're going to recover almost instantly, and you manage to dodge getting shot. Not by your own skill, but by some grace of luck at the very end. Make sense? Luck is very fun. If you have a high luck stat, you can just throw points left and right, because you can get up to 10 points per session that you can just throw around. Do you know how strong a plus 10 is? Well, for reference, the most that you can get on a dice is a 10. You can roll anything between a 1 and a 10, because we use what's known as a D10, a 10-faced dice. And the most that you can have in any stat, except for body, is a 10. I eventually remove that limit when you get late game, but early to mid-game, your stats are capped at 10. Then, from there is there is your skills, which we'll get to later, but for all intents and purposes, early game, they're capped at 10. At first level, they're capped at 6 or 12 if they're a double cost. I'll get to that later. And mid to late game, you unlock the ability to reach level 20 on your skills, which means if a skill uses Dex, which you have 10 of, and also uses, let's say, melee weapons, because that's a Dex skill, you have 20 in melee weapons, and a 10 in Dex, you can get a plus 30 base. Plus whatever the D10 rolls, which means a 31 minimum, ignoring the penalties. We'll get to critical fails and critical successes later. And if I'm going fast, Puppet, just say so. I'll slow down. I know that, so, like, for the past minute or two, I've just been, like, saying, I'll come back to that, I'll come back to that, I'll come back to that. But yeah. So it means that you can roll up to a 40 plus critical success bonus, which can actually bump that 40 up to a 50, 60, 70, which you can then put all the way to an 80 if you decide to dump 10 luck in there for some godforsaken reason. Yep. Well, keep in mind that critical hits don't actually get more damage. So luck is very fun, as described. Also, is the audio balancing on stream good? I'm sure you're probably not listening. You probably have it muted. Making noise to make sure that the audio testing still works. I've been looking at, like, the EQ chart, and it looks like generally I'm louder than the music. Idionache suka. You spastic! Okay, it should enable the music now. I'm gonna check the stream myself, though. Baisuga. You spastic! Okay, yeah, it cut down the Discord. So yeah, it wasn't picking up before, it will now. That's fixed. That was a simple mistake. I should have known that making that not visible meant that it wouldn't be audible either. Oh well, second stream. We learned how the software works. So far what we've got is intelligence plus wisdom, willpower, constitution plus wisdom, cool, just charisma, technique, intelligence plus dexterity normally, reflex, the other half of dexterity, luck, purely its own thing, and then these three, the last and final skills. So, Crocky. Is that a Corgi Croc? A Crocky? It's Crocky. Yeah, if it's a dog and a croc, wouldn't that make it a Crocky? A Crocky? Am I wrong? Doesn't that make sense? Crocky.
Sorry, I'm back. Hi, sorry.
All good.
Someone just gave me like Robux gift cards. Do you want one?
I don't play Roblox, although I don't play Roblox. I'm sure Mark would quite like it, although I've got a friend who also quite like them, probably.
I don't need any more Robux. I've had about £400 worth.
Yeesh.
I don't need any more.
1 second.
Me as well.
Again.
Well, it's what I did ask my dad if like how much I could have in like value wise. So as my dad brought my brother a PS5, I asked him how much could I get, and he was like £300 worth. And then there was since there was no tens, I had an extra 50. So lucky me, I guess. No, I had 150. Then I had another 200. That's 350. I'm stupid. Math. So 350.
He has failed math class.
Yeah, I'm not actually good at maths apart from adding, subtracting.
I can confirm I can hear the music on stream and other voices now. So yeah, the stream is good with the audio.
But it's a Krog. My favorite.
Alright, so next up is body. This is basically just how durable you are. It's just straight constitution. And then dexterity. This is basically strength hybridized with dex. The way I would put it is that in D&D, wisdom is kind of nebulous what it's for. In Cyberpunk, intelligence is intelligence. Willpower is constitution with some hints of wisdom because it's like your willpower and your ability to concentrate and stuff. Cool is charisma. Technique is your physical know-how, basically artificer. Reflex is half of dex. Luck is luck. Body is your constitution, with a little bit of strength added into it. Dex is the other half of dexterity with a lot of strength added to it and how it works. And then finally, movement. How fast you are. Speed is a stat in Cyberpunk. This ain't no 5e where you just get 30 feet per turn. Nah. That's boring. You don't want that.
Yeah, screw 5e.
To clarify, all viewers, I have nothing against 5e, I just personally prefer Cyberpunk. This does not discredit 5e at all. I think it's a very good system. I prefer 3.5 personally, but that's because I am a gremlin who likes turning into a laser wagon and running things over.
Yeah.
So, here is a bunch of like prefabs on how to make character sheets. If you put anything how to stat your character, you literally just roll. You just roll a d10 and you get one of these columns. Or one of these rows. And that's your stats.
Basically some are the same, some are like -1 or 2.
Yeah, basically these just, they're all worth the same value, I think, in total. But it's just about where the points go.
Oh wait, yeah, now I see the difference.
Yeah.
Because I was just looking.
You know, if you roll a 1, you would get 6 intelligence, 7 reflex, 7 dex, 3 technique, 8 in cool, 6 willpower, 5 luck, 5 movement, 6 body, 5 empathy. And then if you roll this one instead, you swap the 8 from the cool and the reflex, you move around the 7 from reflex to the intelligence, you move the 6 from intelligence to cool instead. Yeah, it just kind of like scrambles around where the points go. But the totals, I'm pretty sure, are all the same. Some are more even and some are more sporadic. Personally, I like dumping stats in one thing and leaving others empty. And then here is a bunch of templates based on roles for Rocker Boy, Solo, Netrunner, Techie, etc. Now, I don't really like these systems because kind of boring. Doesn't give you that much control. Then there's this method. Roll 10d10. It's basically the same as the other one, but now if you roll lucky, really lucky, you can get 7 in intelligence, 8 in reflex, 8 in dexterity, 5 in technique, and then 8 in your cool, 7 willpower, 7 luck, 7 movement, 8 in your body. Like, you can see if you roll lucky on this table, you need to get some crazy stats.
Hell yeah.
But personally, I know that not a lot of people are the biggest fans of luck. And so, personally, I endorse Method 3, the complete package. Method allows you to build a character from the ground up, using a pool of character points to buy the character's stats. It is the most flexible method, it is also the most time-consuming and not recommended for novice role players. This is false. Now, admittedly, this method is bad if your character is going to die and get thrown away almost instantly, but I allow people to read these character sheets, especially since we're going to be having like a one-off throwaway game. Although if you're willing to have your corpo die, we might just take the simplest method and roll a flat d10 and punch in those stats like that.
Yeah. Screw corp. I'm sorry.
True corpo rat scum. Either way, the way that this method works is simple. You will get a number of points. The amount that I use is 62, as the book recommends. Due to this, your character will now have the ability to spend those points however you see fit. You know, maybe you want to make sure your character's got a lot of health, so you put 8 points into body and willpower. But you gotta have points removed somewhere, so maybe you tank your charisma. they're not the most charming, they fumble all their words, people just don't like them, one reason or another. But they've got a sharp mind, good hands, and a sturdy body. In this scenario, this is the exact template for a perfect starter character. Notably, this has 2 points unspent. Because this is only 60 points, and you start with 62. Personally, the way I attribute it to keep track of points is I assign luck as the one with 8 points. When I'm using a template, that is, like a blank. But again, you can restat that however you please, and you can fit a lot of 8s if you want. 7 in will, 8 dex, 8 move, 8 body. Someone's gonna be sturdy and doing a lot of melee work.
Yep. Sorry, every time I hear Dex, I think of Dexter Deshawn and I get mad.
Yeah. Some people deserve to get flatlined.
In-game chat.
It's a fictional character, of course it's in-game.
Well, for those that don't know, because hey, because someone in chat might, well, one of those.
Cyberpunk? Fair, I guess, yeah. But yeah. Dexter Deshawn is a fixer in Cyberpunk, and he's, like most fixers, he's a little scummy. Anyways, figuring out how many hit points you have. You have hit points equal to 10, which is, or 10 plus 5 times body and willpower average, rounding up. That's math. You can try and figure that out off the top of your head. I don't, though. I just go straight to page 79 every time. Look at this. It's a table. Readable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, we know that the reference character they were giving us was named Jay. And Jay has 8 body and 7 willpower. That's 50 health right there. Nice and easy. Not difficult at all to figure out. Maximum health that your character can start with? 50. Now you might be noticing the scary end of the table over here with 75.
Yeah.
Note, the way that I stat things, you are not allowed to get more than 10 willpower. And you're not capable of getting more than 10 body without Chrome. Now, there's a piece of Chrome that you can get that gives you a +2 to your body. However, doing that only lets you get up to a +14 maximum. There's also a specific piece of Chrome that sets your body to 14, which means the optimal way would be to have 4 body, get 2 pieces of Chrome to bump your body to 8, because you need 2 muscle grafts anyways, plus you need to have at least 8 body to get that Chrome, which then means that you can bump yourself straight to 14, skipping 9 through 13. Is it cheap? No. I'm pretty sure doing that literally costs like 3,000 eddies, which means no starter character can do it. But you know. And then humanity. Your humanity is 10 times your empathy. Treat humanity like a second health bar. Sure, you can die bleeding out, but you can also die when your mind shatters into a million fragile little pieces.
Oh shit, I just dropped something, I'm sorry.
All good, take your time.
Go. Chat, this is a normal occurrence, don't worry.
They're alright, chat.
I'm alright. It's not the Uber Eats situation, so we're good.
Yeah, that one's truly grody.
Yeah. It just went to the freaking back rooms, I swear to God. Don't worry, chat. Good. I'm just mourning the death of a chapstick.
Yeah, they're a little first when it comes to food.
Yeah. Yep, it's backwards now.
Damn.
Unless it... Oh, it's right here. It was behind my chair. Okay, I'm back.
But alright, so... I've still got roughly an hour and 20. So, we can move on to skills. This part's a little bit longer. I'm not going to tell you every single skill. You can kind of figure out what they are at first glance just by their name. So, as it stands though, no matter what method you've used to generate your character's stats so far, the next step in character creation will be to find out what they can do. And that means, bruh, I'm illiterate. Basically, yeah, skills are the next thing. Skills are the things that things your character knows or can do, simply. Skills linked to stats, each of them has one that they're attached to, that they base their thing off of. So for example, as I described, you can have a 20 in a stat and a 10 in a stat and a 20 in a skill. Again, melee weapons. It means that you're pretty good at stabbing people, and it uses dexterity. So if you're good at dex and melee weapons, let's say you have, 5 dex and 8 melee weapons. That's the skill, not the number of weapons on your person. That would make it so that you would then have a total bonus of 13. Plus the d10. So you roll a d10, whatever number comes up, plus your total of 13, made up of 8 and 5. And that's how you determine how much you would, or how good you hit them. The next note, not all skills are made equal. Some of them are harder to learn and require more training. The plain and simple translation of this, when you're purchasing skills using XP after level 1, there are some skills that are going to cost twice as much. Normally, it's 1 XP to 1 skill point. But for something like flying an aircraft, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Or martial arts, also 2-to-1. These are, big umbrellas defining different flavors of skills that are available, and basically they're all defined by intelligence, dex, usually dex or reflex, intelligence, dex, charisma, reflex, charisma, and technique. Now, here's a big old list of skills. I'm going to scroll by this nice and slow because it will be archived. You can read, or you can, read through them in the VOD if you would like, or just pause at any time since this will be archived. However, actually reading this is not expected. But as you can see, we got lots of skills. Athletics, animal handling, bureaucracy, contortionist, business, dance, composition, endurance, drug and torture resistance, criminology. Just to name some of a page. Which later goes on to go into cryptography, wilderness survival, deduction, education, brawling, evasion, gambling, martial arts, language. I don't use language, I just say that universal tongue exists. library search, melee weapons, local expert, acting. Local expert does have a use, I will make that known. Play instruments, science, which is normally broken down into different categories, but I say broadly you can learn all of them. The type you are, the prospect of science. Archery, tactics, auto fire. It's a bit trickier to learn how to fire a gun rapid as opposed to singular, right?
Right.
Handgun, wardrobe and style, heavy weapons. It's a bit harder to learn how to fire an automatic machine gun than it is to fire a pistol. There's also air vehicles, shoulder arms, anything that has a stock that you brace against your arm. You've also got basic technician, bribery, cyber technician, conversation, demolitionist, human perception, electronics and security technician, interrogation, first aid, perception, personal grooming, forgery, as well as streetwise, land vehicle technician, trading, and what I simply refer to as the physical arts, also known as paint, draw, and sculpt. And this continues going all the way down into paramedic, pickpocketing, photography, which I simply just refer to as photography, or videography, I forget what I call it specifically. As well as sea vehicle technician, lockpicking, pickpocketing, and weapons tech, which is easy to misread as weapons stitch.
Stitch.
But yeah, photography is your ability to, compose things. Where do you get your skills? Skills are only rated from 1 to 10, and are used during gameplay in the adding of skills for the most applicable statistic. They have a range of effectivenesses that relate to how much they cost. Basic skills are guaranteed to come from everyone. Language to their cultural background, established in their life path. Again, language is one of the few skills in this game that I abolish, because everyone has a Neuralink. Basically. So the plain and simple is, if you've got a Neuralink, you've got a translator. Anyways, this is the street rat method. This is just stat blocks that are assigned depending on what class you pick, if you want to do faster. As you can see, there's a few skills that are kind of just picked as a lot of nothing murders, and then there's a few specialties. And then again with the other 5 classes. You'll note that not a lot of people super highly invested in athletics in these base skills, and the simple truth of that is because athletics is not all that useful of a skill. Obviously you can invest in it later down the line, but for a starting character, you want something like evasion to help you from getting shot. There's also a list here of some mandatory skills. So you'll notice that some of these skills are written bold and some of them aren't, even in the demo character sheet that I have on server, which I will not be streaming. If you look at the demo sheet for John Doe, you'll notice a lot of his stats are written in bold, right?
Right.
Those are the mandatory minimums. You'll notice a decent number of John Doe's mandatory minimums are either a 2 or a 6. Like the first aid, for example, at the very bottom. It's exactly 2. And the same goes for his education, and his stealth, and athletics. But his concentration and perception are 6s, because those are more useful. Then there's this method, which, the edge runner, fast and dirty. You get so many points, no point can be higher than 6 or lower than 2. Don't forget the 4 levels of language that you get for free. And this is basically just where you put the points in these specific ones. Frankly, I think this method is more complicated and less interesting than the other one. So I just skipped to the final example one, the complete package. No skills allowed to be higher than 6. The following skills must be at least 2. Athletics, brawling, concentration, conversation, education, evasion, first aid, human perception, language, doesn't exist, local expert is applied across the whole city, perception, persuasion, and stealth. Skills marked in the master skill list cost double, aka bold skills cost double. So, here you are. This is the approximate table of how much things cost. As you can see, everything on this side costs double. Except language, which, yeah. And then there is the other side of how to spend those points. These ones are not mandatory, but most of them, as you can see, the cost and level is the same, with one exception. Auto-fire. And as we covered, firing a gun rapidly is a bit trickier than single fire. Next up comes weapon categorizations and how combat operates. Generally, it's not all that complicated. Basically, there's 4 different classes of melee weapon, just increasing in damage. You get 2 swings of anything except the heaviest. The smallest one is concealable, the biggest one does the most damage in one hit, but only gets one. Now you might be doing some basic math by using your little thinking noodle in your skull, and thinking, yo Choom, why would I ever try and use a very heavy weapon? That's only 46, which is a maximum of 24 damage. Don't I do more damage by doing 3d6, given that that has a maximum of 36 damage? And to that, I would say, good on you, Choom. You understand basic arithmetic. However, there's a certain point that we didn't really bring up here that you wouldn't know about, so I'm not going to call you stupid, even though you might be, Choom. It's okay. Still love you.
Yay!
Now, the reason for that is if you roll 2 6s in any attack, for the damage specifically, it's a critical hit. You can critically hit on hitting and in damage. And if you get a critical hit on damage, they sustain an injury from the injury table, which I'll come back to at a later date. Probably not this stream, because I am running on 1 hour before my D&D game begins.
Yep.
Anyways, this is probably a bit more your flavor, Puppet, since you do got freedom flowing in your veins, do you not?
Yeehaw.
That's what I thought. So, here we have guns. Lots of guns.
Yay! My culture.
So, as you've noticed, we've got 3 variants of pistol, varying from medium to very heavy. And you'll notice the very heavy only gets 1 shot as its rate of fire. 1 shot per turn. But the plain and simple there is, I would say that this is basically like a macro. It's a real tiny wimpy pistol that you can point it nice and fast, and it's super easy to hide. This is something that's shooting a bit more of a BB round, something more in the 9mm range. You can probably shoot it about twice every 3 seconds if you line it up. It's not too tricky, but you know. Medium is a Glock. Heavy is a 1911. Very heavy? Now you're talking something like a revolver or a Desert Eagle. You're only going to be shooting it once every 3 seconds if you want to keep your wrist intact, but that 1 bullet is going to hit a lot harder. Sure, not as hard as 2 19, 11 rounds, but, I mean, admittedly, which one's more likely to break your ribs? Getting shot with a deagle or 2 rounds from a 1911? Sure, the 1911 will make you bleed out and probably die faster, but, you know.
The sadist one.
Yeah. Welcome back, Tato.
Hello, Tato.
Yeah, honestly, it's quite nice to have all this archived and just know that people will be able to like, go back and rewatch this for potential briefings.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a useful thing in hindsight that I really should have done to a degree. Still just running through the Cyberpunk rulebook with some background tunes. So, next one that might catch you that's a little bit weird is the SMG only having a fire rate of 1. Yeah, go for it, feel free to lurk. Okay. So, here's something that might catch you off Puppet and seem a little bit weird. How does the pistol have a fire rate of 2, but the SMG only has a fire rate of 1? Right?
The wrist, possibly?
Somewhat, yes, but the more important thing is this little black line between each of the weapons. Alt fire mode and special features. You'll notice
Okay.
that. Oh, take your time.
What?
So, alt fire modes are something that a few different weapons have. For an SMG, it's basically a spray and pray mode. It lets you fire 10 rounds at once, and gives you the chance to get a ×3 multiplier on your damage. Up to. Of course, that's only if you roll high enough on your hit, but the ×3 damage on 2d6 can be well worth it. Then there's heavy SMGs, slightly bigger mag, and slightly better individual round damage, but same auto fire gimmick. SMGs also have suppressive fire, which basically just forces anyone who fails a check to go into cover. Fun skill, very useful, especially when you're outnumbered. Then you've got shotguns. Meanest gun so far, 5d6. Now, that does come with a caveat, however, only 1 shot per turn. But, the other benefit that they have is that they do that 5d6, which is more likely to get a critical injury, and they also have the access to the special feature of shotgun shells. Normally they fire slugs, but if you want to, you can change the slugs on the fly to buckshot. Firing that buckshot, it doesn't have a lot of range, but anyone within the next 3 tiles, they're in for a bad time, because you can hit any amount of people. Continuing on though, shotguns are quite fun. None of my players use them though so far.
RIP.
Sniper rifles, very high damage, same as the shotgun, but they have a different range table, which obviously is better at longer. Bows and arrows have a special feature simply referred to as arrows. That feature means that you buy arrows once, and you don't need to do it again. Unless you're using, like, explosive arrows. Then obviously you need to buy more. Grenade launcher comes with the feature of being explosive, and so does the rocket launcher. Now, ammunition comes into the picture. Basic ammunition is pretty dirt cheap. You get 10 shots for 10 eddies. 1 eddy per bullet, basically. But there are fancier munitions out. But you know. But if you want to attend your own funeral, including the... So yes, you can also, technically, as they've just said in the rulebook, you can let players buy these ultra primo items out the gate, but they don't encourage it because they can super break the balance of your game, and admittedly none of them basically are affordable. Given that
Yeah.
you start with 2,000 eddies, which means you can get a dart gun, maybe a flamethrower, air pistol,
You better be-
stun gun, stuff like that.
You better be teaming with a rich corpo to get that right off the bat.
Yep. Which on that, there's also weapon attachments and armor, which we'll come back to at a later date probably. Oh no, we'll come back to now. Armor is pretty simple. There's two types, hard and soft armor, as I refer to them. All of what you're looking at here, except for the bulletproof shield at the bottom, don't look at that. All of this is hard armor. The plain and simple way that this stuff works is somebody shoots you, they successfully hit you, but the bullet only does 6 damage. You're wearing a Kevlar vest. Good news. The bullet goes into your vest, you get the wind knocked out of you, but you take no damage. Yeah, that's uncomfortable, but like, you didn't even take damage, and neither did your vest. But his friend comes in from behind you and point blanks you with a shotgun.
Oh shit.
The shotgun, well, the shotgun lands, I'm just gonna say 20 damage, which is a lot of damage. As you can see, even the Metal Gear, the heaviest armor on the market, the Metal Gear wouldn't stop that. So he tags you in the back with the shotgun for 20 damage. Now you might think, well, that means my Kevlar is probably not going to stop it since it only stops up to a 7. And you're right. But not only does it not stop it, your Kevlar just got its armor value reduced by 1 point. Now your Kevlar will only stop a 6 or lower. Every time something punches through your armor, it gets worse. If your armor stops it, nothing happens. So, if you get hit by something for 8 damage, and then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all that last 1 damage, there goes your armor. Kevlar torn to shreds. And a hefty amount of damage done to you overall. Now you might be thinking, does the armor at least do something to the 20 that I took from that shotgun? Nope! You take 20 damage dead on the face. You probably
Ooh.
30 health is pretty standard in Night City, but that's gonna leave a mark, and it's gonna hurt like a bitch.
Like, basically, you're going to end up like Pale Fox.
Yeah, she was reeling on the ground after she got domed, but then again, she wasn't wearing any armor.
And somehow survived.
Big health pool, what can I say?
Yeah.
Either way, you'll also notice that heavier armor starts coming with penalties, like the medium armor jack. You suffer a -2 to your reflex dex and movement speed. Plain and simple, heavier armor has consequences. Hard to aim when you're walking around as a tank. Benefit: hard to put you down when anything under an 18 is a 0. And then there's the next caveat. Soft armor. With a bulletproof shield. Transparent polycarbonate shield that can protect you in a firefight. Now, let's change that route and the timeline and how it went. Let's say that punk ran at you with his Lexington and he fired his little pea shooter at you. It did 3 damage. Your Kevlar would be completely unaffected, but you decided to pull out your polycarb shield and throw it in front of you while you tried to hunt him down for a second. The bullet hits your polycarb shield and does 3 damage. The polycarbonate shield has 10 health, so your shield now has 7 health remaining. You can see why soft armor could be good and worse. Now, your shield has 7 health remaining on it. You're also wearing the Kevlar vest underneath, let's say. So, what happens, that same other psycho runs up behind you. He rolls less good on his shotgun this time, only getting, let's say, a 10. So what happens then is his shotgun completely blows your shield apart, because it only has 7 health remaining. So there goes your shield. But the remaining damage that can get through from the shotgun is only 3 points of damage, which means the Kevlar you're wearing actually stops it. Pretty useful. Trade-off is that soft armor, it breaks fast. Alright. Just making sure. Good that you are alright, puppet. Alright, Tato. See ya.
Alright, Tato.
Watching a sport game loudly. Yeah, I'll be gone in like, 3/4 of an hour, Tato, because I've got D&D game to run. Take care. But yeah, so here's a list of various starter gear that's recommended if you don't know what to buy for your character, based on your class. A lot of it's pretty simple, but you know, it'll get you sorted, keep you safe. Then, there's the complete package method, the one that I prefer. You just buy what you want. You've got some typical purchasing sets like this. But, as far as things go, this is Night City. You can buy whatever you see fit for your needs. Agents, cell phones, air hypos, syringes, small crew gas masks, radio recorders, audio level dampener, ear protection, binoculars, brain dance viewers, bug detectors, carry-alls, anything that you can imagine needing. Some punk in Night City's looking to sell it for almost reasonable price. List goes on. Plenty of goods to be purchased, including biotoxins.
Why would someone need biotoxins?
So here's a fun little thing. Poison and biotoxin are separate. The way I classify them as being separate is poison will slowly kill you. You'll die, you know, dropping dead on the ground. Biotoxin is poisonous and acidic.
Oof.
If it doesn't get injected into your skin directly, doesn't matter. It'll eat through your skin and seep into your blood. Nasty stuff.
God damn.
Which is why gas grenades of it are so potent. You inhale it, gets into your lungs, into your blood. You're dead on the spot, pretty much. Anyways, a few different outfits for, recommended prefabs for characters. But again, personally, I'm more of a fan of buy it all yourself. 2,550 eddies. Help yourself,
Yeah.
kid. Figure it out. See what you like. See what shines nice on you. A decent amount of my players basically just purchased Chrome. And frankly, I don't blame them. After all, cyberpunk, not street punk. Next up, how we get shipping in. Zero ad, putting the cyber into the punk. You can be good or you can be dead. But the more you can add, the more you can bring that. But the more you can add, the more you can bring that meat you were born with up to the next level. The better you are. And that means less of a chance of ending up on the dead side of the equation. Now, before we
Sorry if you hear anything. I'm messing with the screwdriver.
all good. Now, let's begin by straightening one thing out. It's cyberware, not cyberware. Cyberware is stuff you can remove. You're just wearing it, Shubata. You're a tourist, not yet committed to the edge. Cyberware is various types of hardware. You actually have to implant it, place parts of yourself, your own body. It's stuff that you live with. Maybe you swap it out, but you had to get rid of something to put it there in the first place.
Like optics for like eyes for
Yep. Swapping out your eyes for a pair of corrosions. You're losing something to gain something better.
unless you already.
Well, you can replace them with med-grade stuff. Then, there's other stuff to worry about. Board up too much, and you're gonna get C-spot on you. Cybernetic special weapons and tactics squads. Also known as the Psych Dev or Psych Enforcement, as well as Max. The Maximum Force Tactical Division. Generally, you don't want to piss those boys off, so it's best to be well behaved, even if you do got voices screaming at you to remove your abilities.
Hey, reference.
Yep. But from here, we've got the types of chrome. Fashion wear, neural wear, cyber optics, cyber audio, internal cyberware, external cyberware, cyber limbs, and board wear. As well as the 3 varying levels of installation: mall, clinic, and hospital. Mall stuff, you can get it done basically anywhere. All you need is somewhere that you can sit still for a little bit, and boom, you're good. It's as quick as getting a Pearson. Then, clinic level. You're going to need an actual med tech to do some basic surgery on you. You'll probably want anesthetic, but top, worst case scenario, quick half-hour installation, give or take. It's mostly automated as well. But the river dock is still there now, this shit's all lined up and it works. Then there's the hospital level shit. This is going to require major surgery. Could take, full day to get it installed. It's pretty rare for stuff to need that level of installation, but if you're looking to board up and go full smasher, you're gonna need it. So, fashion wear. Bio monitors, basically just a heart rate monitor that keeps your other vitals. Chem skin. Synthetic skin. Done sunburns are the thing of the past. EMP threading. You know, it's just green look tuned. That's all it is. They're just trying to look Nova. Trying to get a cream style on. Light tattoos. RGB under your skin. You know, like backup from edge runners.
Yeah.
Shift hacks. Color changing contact lenses. Pretty simple implant. But you know, looks nice. RGB eyes effectively. Skin wash. Subdermal LED lights for telling the time. It's basically just a light tattoo that you'll usually get on your wrist to tell time. Want to carry a Rolex when that can get clipped. And finally, tech hair. Why not have RGB hair while you're at it? Now, let's get into the real chrome. First up, neural wear. If you want anything on this list, you're probably going to want a Neuralink. Enables you to do a lot more with your Chrome without needing a netrunner to tell you that you can do it. Or a Ripper doc to make sure that shit all works. But there's plenty of things you can ship. Brain dance recorders, sidewire chip sockets, interface plugs, forensic hubs, some dev scans, chemical analyzers, as well as memory chips, which are basically free. All factory boosters for better tracking, pain editors so that you don't feel the hurt no more, skill chips. Sometimes you need a quick little edge on a skill that you just don't already have. Or even a tactile boost. After all, it's good to be able to feel that person walking behind you when you can't see or hear them. Then, we move on to the eyes. Rip them out, swap them for something better. Why sell for 20/20 when you can get 40/20? You've got anti-dazzle, keeps you from being flashbang, cryon, basically your heads-up display, color shift. Not sure why you would go for this one over just, tack lenses, but whatever. Dark gun. Surprisingly, shoot them from your own eye. As well as image enhancements, which make you better at seeing just about everything. Not to be forgotten, we have the other half of the list, which includes low light infrared and UV vision, which I simply refer to as wide spectrum. Micro optics for 400 times magnification, a micro video camera, because why not turn your eye into the camera? After all, it gets you the best shot. It's real. Radiation detectors, time of red, not the best. Aristotle Tower kinda got blown the fuck up, and there's a bit of radiation. There's also targeting scope pre-installed. After all, who needs a scope? Just use iron sight towers. As well as teleoptics for bonuses on long shots and for travel for when you're a netrunner who don't got time for goggles. Next up, the outside audio suite, which comes with the potential options, only 3 of them, keep in mind, of amplifying your hearing, recording audio, being able to detect bugs, moment tracers, internal agent, again, basically a phone with an automated AI, level dampeners, just buy some fucking headphones, nerd, as well as radio communicators, radio scanners, music players, your pod, radar detectors, scrambler, descramblers for other communications, and voice stress analyzer. Really let you know what they need when you're in that interrogation. As far as internal ones, you're up to 70s are allowed. And those include the audio box, swap out your vocal cords, get something a bit more green chew.
Why did that get me? Get me to...
It's such a dumb voice too, it's just a male stronger.
Yeah.
Contraceptive implants. Doesn't come with any humanity loss. It's almost like you're still human if you're infertile. Enhanced antibodies helps you heal up faster. Cyber Snake. It's a snake in your esophagus. Gills, makes sense. Grafted
Wait,
muscle
hold on.
and bone
What?
lace. Yeah.
A snake in what?
Cybernetic snake implanted into your esophagus. Requires a hospital visit to install, but it's a very heavy weapon that can be hidden quite well.
Ooh, the gills look cool.
Gills would be very
But that's-
fun for your character. It would also
Yeah.
explain how they survived so well.
True. I just need to be in debt when I start.
It's only 1,000 eddies, that's not that bad.
Yeah. Plus, knowing my character, like, not the corpo, but the former nomad one, it explains, like, because, you know, she did, like, stealing of cargo.
Mm-hmm.
One of those cargo would have gills.
True. You do have a pretty powerful enemy, so I might be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Could
Cough,
be that
cough.
that's why the Corpo wanted to hit your tribe in the first place.
True. And that coincidentally made her life worse when she survived.
Yep. Anyways, you've got grafted muscle and bone lace. These just make you stronger, but they can't bring you anything above 10, which means that technically the best avenue is to, well, you know, I won't explain again. I think I already did that on mic at the early part of this video stream. But yeah, continuing on, we've got about a half hour. There's also an implanted air supply. It's a half hour of oxygen, takes an hour to refill in ambient atmosphere. Midnight Lady sexual implant and Mr. Stubbs sexual implant. I will not go in any further on YouTube. Nasal filters so that you don't breathe poisonous gases. Radar and sonar implants. You know, scan terrain through cover even. Well, not through cover, but yeah. Toxic binders just makes drug checks a little bit easier to pass, and vampers. An excellent quality light melee weapon. Very good for concealed attacks. Just give someone a quick little nibble, and there's biotoxin in their veins. As far as external stuff, we've got hidden holsters, skin weave, and subdermal armor, as well as subdermal pockets. Skin weave is just weak for subdermal armor. Subdermal armor is the primo stuff. Real sturdy-like. And finally, we move on to the fun stuff. Cyber limbs. Specifically starting with cyber arms. Swap out your arms for big knuckles, or gorilla arms as they were, implanted cyber decks, grappling hands, medical scanners, pop-up grenade launchers, pop-up melee weapons, pop-up shield, pop-up range weapons, you name it, we got it. In addition, you're also capable of getting the quick change mount, which I used on one hostile NPC that was very fun, by the name of Captain Winters. He had a belt of arms that he wore. Pop-up grenade launcher takes up basically all of the space that you can fit in one arm, so pop-up grenade launcher plus quick change mount, easy choice. Rip off one arm, you know, open a fight by shooting a grenade. Okay, there goes the smoke grenade, toss that arm to the ground, pick it up at the end of the fight when it's over. Next one, people are starting to close in on you, switch to the SMG arm, grab that and slap that in, quickly spray and pray, sweeping the whole last room with more than one SMG in your arm. Then, that's out of ammo, rip it off and throw it to the ground. Then quickly grab another arm, switch to Mantis Blades. Just start hacking and slashing now that they've closed that distance. Spooky stuff. Admittedly, Bro was basically cut in half. From the left shoulder to the right hip.
Holy shit.
Both legs swapped out, and left hand completely gone, as well as the entirety of that arm. Barely.
Rest in.
Well, he lived. That's why he is like he is. Originally, he was just some merc that we met on a train. One of our characters ran up and slashed him good as he mag-dumped into them with an SMG. He fell to the ground on the train, and he only lived because the train we were robbing was heading towards Night City before we finished jacking it. We managed to steal the cargo, and he managed to hold on long enough to make it to Night City, where he was saved. As for the other members of that security force, most of them got shot dead and eventually got flung off the train, and one in particular... Do you know how fast a maglev goes?
That sounds unfamiliar to my knowledge.
A maglev is the hover trains of the world of Cyberpunk. They effectively have no drag whatsoever, because they're not touching tracks. The only resistance that they have to put up with is the air.
Wind resistance, basically.
Yep. So you get an aerodynamic nose on that thing, and they go fast. The one that we were robbing in our cannon was going 700 miles an hour.
700?
Once they get up to speed, there's nothing stopping them. And since they don't actually connect to the track, basically all they need is a strong enough magnetic field, and they can even take hard ass turns without derailing. So, on that note, we were trying to take out a bunch of people, and one of our characters happened to notice something miraculously. As a fucking miracle. Miraculously, they caught this roll. That's a turn up ahead. It's gentle, but that's a turn. Every member of our party jumped off the side of the fucking train and, like, started clinging to the wall of it. Most of the security saw what the fuck we were doing and was confused, except for one, and only one of them. Captain Winters. He saw what happened and ran to the edge of the train and grabbed the side, staying on top instead. The other member, who was on his team, simply yelled, "Bro, what the fuck are you doing? Just shoot them!" He aims, ready to shoot our players, hanging off the side of the train, and then the train turns. Out of nowhere, he is now no longer standing on the train. He is instead flying through the air at 700 miles per hour into the fucking desert. He hits the ground at 700 miles an hour. He tumbles for a good half a mile, shred to fucking ribbons by the mere sand beneath him.
Oof.
The train didn't take a strong turn either, only about 12 degrees, but when you're moving that fast, the inertial force of that change basically meant the train was beneath him, and then it wasn't. As for all of our people who took the inside of the turn when they wanted to cling to the train, they got bashed against the wall because, yeah. But they all lived.
It was like a Looney Tunes situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like they experienced 700 miles an hour versus 9.9 meters per second would turn into... Oh, technically that's like way more cheese than they should have been able to take, but fuck it. Technically, they should have turned into a paste on the side of the train, and the other guy should have had his arms ripped off, but, you know, whatever. Cinema, chrome, etc.
Plus, hey, it's D&D.
Yeah, it's you know, it's cinematic, also chrome. So,
Yeah,
what happens from there, though? Eventually, he was the last guy standing off, and one of our characters rushed him with a sword. They swung at him, but he mag-dumped into their fucking stomach, nearly killing them. They still got the last laugh by cutting him in half. He only lived because he had rolled so high on not getting thrown off the train. He rolled like a 30-something. Fun fact, anytime an NPC rolls over a 30, they become a legend. They get a name. They have a name, they get a backstory. I start fleshing them out. You can see them again and again. They don't go away that easy.
Hell yeah!
Maybe you can befriend them, maybe they become a rival for life. Either way, the world has a nemesis system. Moving on, rippers. These are basically just extended claws that you can get out of your fingers. If you've ever seen the music video for Let You Down, There are those. Then there's scratchers. These are just nails. Really long, sharp nails. Think what Angel has IRL about now-ish. But, you know.
Yeah.
High carbon glass, so really sharp.
Hey, best back scratchers.
Yes. Shoulder mount for your cameras. Self-explanatory. A slice and dice. Monowire, as it were. Subdermal grip. Smart weapon enabler. Tech scanner. Useful to know what you're looking at. Hand tool. Fingers for screwdrivers, wrenches, small drills, and any other tools you could possibly need. And finally, wolvers. Or, as they're known in 2077, mantis blades. Yep. And nearing the very end of the Chrome segment, we've got the actual cyber legs, which include, you know, medical cybernetic foot, or leg, which you can get at the medical grade as well. Now, notably, grip foot lets you neglect movement penalties when climbing. You want a wall run and look cool? That's how you do it. Jump booster? Fuck it. Negates the penalties when jumping. Just double your fucking ability to jump. Skate foot. This is supposed to have that, like, retro-futurist vibe.
That looks fun.
It is fun. It's also a movement speed booster, which is quite good. Talon
They're
foot,
just
basically mantis blade for your leg. And web foot. Better swimming.
yeah.
And then finally, the coating on your chrome. Hardened shielding keeps you from being net ran with black ice and similar things, but, you know, black ice will still get through. It's just non-black ice programs and EMPs aren't going to work. You gotta have a netrunner who knows what they're doing to get your chrome jammed. Plastic covering, it just looks, you know, simple. Gets the job done, though. Real skin covering?
Isn't plastic covering the ones that usually Mox members have?
Yeah, those are generally about their tone. Their tone, like Valentino's, usually go for super chrome. V seems to choose real skin as often as they can, or hardened shielding. And, again, Johnny Silverhand and the Valentinos, they like their super chrome. Keep it gold. Keep it metallic.
Yeah.
Keep it pretty. And finally, Borgware, artificial shoulder mounts. Why not have more arms? To clarify, if you've got weapons, having those extra arms, I give you extra actions. So, if you're rocking 4 pistols, you get 4 shots. Just, you know, remember that you need to pay to have those cyber arms and the mount. So it's actually going to run you like 8d6 humanity loss. Not cheap. Then, implanted linear frame Sigma. This is the safer variant. It's a bit more commercially available. You only need 1 skin graft and a body of 6 to install it. And it bumps your stats up to 12 for your body. The beta, however, that's the big boy one. You want to look like Adam Smasher? That's your ticket. Bumps your body straight to 14. Basically high as she'll go. Multi-optic mount. If you want more eyes, think Faraday. Or me, honestly. And then sensor array. More cyber audio installations. Recommended starter chrome for various edge runners, as it were. Not everyone gets a ton of chrome recommended to them. After all, sometimes you don't need everything.
Yeah. Like, in some cases, as little as you can get is the best.
Yeah, empathy is a useful tool. Now,
Yep.
notably, running out of cash, looking at your starting list of cyberware and thinking, I don't got these kind of eddies to swing this tech. At this point, you need to ask yourself, how desperate am I? Am I hard up enough to risk death and dismemberment just for a lousy cyberarm? And you fucking sure are! The totally desperate turn to desperate measures, and in this case you can hire yourself out to someone who can afford to buy your cybernetics for you. At your DM's discretion, of course, that being me mostly. Selecting one of the following employers in the character generation will snag you a lovely 1,500 eddy bonus, knocking you to a mere 4,050 eddies to spend on cybernetics, with most of it being still dedicated towards the other stuff.
Yeah.
In addition to installing a mandatory neurolink cyberware free of charge, assuming that everyone else playing at the table to also take advantage of this attractive employment opportunity. Keep in mind, normally I allow this to be done on session 0. Your characters don't feel like they've got enough chrome? Talk it out in character, not in person. I want your characters to make mistakes that you wouldn't. Sure, the person with a puppet would probably look around and say, I'm not going to sell out to a different corporation, that's a dumb idea. But your character might go, I've already got one corpo who wants me dead, I might as well get protection from a different one, at least. So, you can either sell out to various crime families and be prepared to have to do assassinations and murders for them. Just remember, no one ever quits the mob. Ever.
Spera pedia. I am walking my dog.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just running through the rulebook while you are on stream. This will be archived. So,
Oh?
yeah.
Archived?
Yes,
Good dog.
on channel.
Dog.
It's a Palmer.
Dog.
Ball
It's a
of
pom pom.
I am in the middle of a forest.
It looks like
right
you're in the
now.
back rooms.
Oh.
No, this is the forest.
No,
The
no,
back forest.
that's the back rooms. I mean, I
No,
can't
this
be
is the
talking. The
back
place I live in literally looks like the back rooms at night.
You live in a forest too?
Well, yeah, it's surrounded by forests, and I live in like a very gingerbread housey neighborhood.
Ooh.
Basically, everything looks the same and very cartoony for some reason.
Yeah, that's nice. I dig that aesthetic.
Yeah,
this is
probably don't leave.
yeah, this is,
Refrain from leaving
Yeah.
notifications off as you can.
don't worry. This
I need to nuke that from the archive.
oh
Um,
sorry.
Anyways, moving on back to the rulebook, you can sell out to various crime families to get additional starting credits, but don't be surprised when they're willing to take people you care about hostage, blackmail you, keep your cybernetics on lockout, or even potentially monitor you 24/7. Hell, they may even have a kill chip in you.
Better than dealing with a yandere corpo, I guess.
To a degree.
Oh, you're explaining the rulebook of Cyberpunk to
Puppet and also archiving it.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of story stuff here. I think realistically at this point I've given like a pretty decent gloss over stuff. Because I've ran you through everything from statistics all the way down to the bottom of cyberware. Which is most of the stuff you would need to know on how to make your character that would be interesting. Obviously there's more stuff about, dice rolling, skills, and various roles, but as far as it goes, that's pretty good. Also, I do need to do the audio of the Basil and King's info, so I'm gonna kill stream and see if I can cut that out.
Bye-bye, stream.
I am sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. Just do try and be careful about it in the future.
Yes. So, like, are you thinking about joining our Cyberpunk campaign, or?
I might invite some people from the server to it, although I think our campaign is a little edgy for this server.
True.
Yeah. I'm thinking of running a separate one for this community.
Oh.
Which you, of course, are allowed to join, but it will be different. Obviously, you can transfer your character, but I'm gonna have to neuter some of your tech.
Also, don't worry about edginess when it comes to me. I've been in worse communities.
I'm gonna be real, G. I'm not sure I can talk about how edgy our fucking campaign is on stream. It's like...
Yeah.
It's like bad.
It borders on it teeters on the edge of like 4chan free speech, but not that level of degeneracy. But and then there's the teetering on the edge of like a Balkan group chat logs. Yeah.
To put it simply, one of our characters within like the first 10 sessions tried to burn down a random homeless camp just because.
Holy shit.
I didn't start that. That was the corporate, man.
Yes, that was actually our game's corpo. Just as a move.
Another reason to never trust corpos.
And then someone came back and shot the homeless dude.
In your defense, that homeless guy did whoop us like session 2.
Yeah, cause my evasion and brawling wasn't that high. This is Karn pre-Crystal Palace cyberware.
Yeah.
Chewie, that's a puddle you're walking into, and I just walked into a puddle. And now my feet are wet.
Damn.
And it's driving me insane.
Anyways, I'm gonna kill stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye-bye, stream.
This will be archived, there you go.